the Home Office saying that all UK arrivals are checked against lists, but the e-border scheme has been dogged by problems since its launch in 2003, prompting the head of the UK Border Force, Sir Charles Montgomery, to tell MPs last year that it had been terminated in its current form. The scheme was to collect information such as passport numbers and nationalities, allowing officials to export to the border by preventing people embarking on journeys to the UK if they were considered a threat. Now, Lucy, you've just joined us in the studio, and before the break we were talking about the threat that may come about from these air attacks, if you like, on IS in Syria. Do you think our border controls are too lax? Do you think we should be upping our border checks?
I think they're on it at the present moment, but I do think it should be stronger, because you never know that is. And I know some people don't agree with the fact that some people will say they can't come in, but I'm sorry, while we have what's going on in Syria, we cannot have anybody else coming to our country from Syria. Now, fine, from other places, if their passports match to where the person is from, and passports are checked profusely, because you never know if it's a fake passport or not. So, but we cannot afford for anyone to come over here and basically set up some bomb, especially because they're coming around to Christmas. I mean, we can't, and we've got to think about our own people at the end of the day, and that's what it is.
Okay. Well, what are your thoughts, Steve?
Well, you should have been here 5 minutes ago. This is what we were talking about, really. I think there's a narrative that's been constructed, which is, we can't let them in, we can't let any migrants in because the migrants are the enemy. But as we were talking about, a lot of this stuff is actually homegrown. In France, I think it was one person who'd sneaked in, but the others were homegrown. 7/7 bombers were homegrown, and I think it's an easy argument to say we can't let them in because they're all going to be terrorists, when the real problem is actually is people that are being radicalised at home.
It's a grooming process, really.
Yeah.
From these horrible extremists that are taking on young, vulnerable teenagers, basically, a lot of the time, that probably are getting bullied at school, things like that. So of course they get the attention from them, and they groom them to be these.
Kind of interesting, isn't it? Yeah, what is the radicalisation process? So I take your point about what you were saying before, but you're wrong. So.
All right. But we still can't have them coming in here. We know we've got a lot here.
Yeah.
But we still cannot have them coming in.
Yeah. This is good. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think we need to. I think the real threat is at home. I think that's stronger than the perception of threat that's coming in from outside.
Just going, Steve, back about the borders, if you like. Do you think our border controls are as tough as they could be?
I don't know. No. Yes, no. I don't care. Let people come in. I'm not bothered. I think we should let people come into this country. We need them. They contribute to the economy. People who come into this country put in more than they take out. It's only an accident of birth, isn't it? We just happen to be born in England, so we're subjected to these concepts of nations and borders. We weren't born in Lebanon. It was just luck. That's all. Get rid of all borders. Get rid of all this. Roam around.
Maybe people should have freedom to travel between.
Yeah. Have you ever been to the Isle of Wight? The Isle of Wight's great. You could get the whole world moving onto the Isle of Wight, having a really fab time. And then the rest of the world is like free to run around. Just do that.
Yeah. Possibly. What about this thing then about because it's a computerised passport? I don't know if you've used or if you've got a more modern passport. They basically check your photograph against the photograph that's on your passport.
Yeah, I've done that. It's frustrating.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is really, isn't it?
Yeah.
The checks that they
It's well needed. It's well needed, especially because of what's happened over the years as well. It's needed, and it's good that we've got that in one sense, but then it's the fear of you being a computer state, that they've got every bit of information about you.
Yeah.
You're not there on the internet, for anyone to use.
Yeah.
But so they've wasted £800 million on this system that doesn't really work. It's not keeping the undesirables out of the country.
They could have repainted the Isle of Wight for less than half.
They could have. Anyway, we'll move on. And UK firms, a new cotton mill has opened in a generation. Could we be seeing the rebirth of British manufacturing with people investing more here in the UK? Do you think, Steve?
Yeah, well, I hope so, because I live in Tameside,
Okay.
and I don't have a job, and I need a T-shirt. So if they need any people to get on board, then I'll go along. So, yeah, maybe. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I'm more interested in the reason why foreign companies aren't investing in this country anymore, because if you listen to Gideon Osborne, he will tell us that foreign investment is increasing. So,
Yeah.
so this is from the Office of
Yeah, this is from last year. It's data up until March of this year, really. And you know, they're basically saying that British companies aren't investing as much overseas anymore, but at the same time, people aren't investing in us.
Yeah, so question mark around that. I mean, I also know as well, or heard that when people talk about foreign investment, a lot of it is diverted, first of all, into places like the Cayman Islands and things as well. So you can talk about these huge figures of investment, but actually a third of it doesn't even come into this country anyway. It just sits there in kind of offshore accounts. But I do think it's interesting that British companies are kind of invest, because that's, you know, you look at Germany, you look at the end of World War II, and you often wonder who won and who lost. Maybe if we'd kept up with manufacturing and invested in our own country, then we wouldn't be wherever we are now.
Well, it's good news, obviously, for Tameside, and the fact that they're opening the first cotton mill in a generation.
In how many years?
Well,
we were the biggest industry of cotton for a heck of a lot of years, and it's so actually got it back now because it went abroad. And we were getting it from abroad. So like, let's open more. Let's get some more. Let's get Britain back to being Great Britain.
They should have a made in Tameside label maybe as well. That might encourage people. Local economies.
Might be good. Yeah, the particular mill that the company is taking over ceased production in 1955. So we're talking, you know, a good 60 years.
Now, talking bringing back some good old British history. And putting it out there and letting the world know that we are still the best, and we'll still be the best no matter what. You can go out, all other countries can do what they do, but Britain will always be the best at doing cotton.
At making T-shirts.
And making T-shirts.
That kind of
and bulletproof vests.
What kind of industry would you like to see back? Do you think? Obviously, we've got the cotton mills, and you know, if we can get that back up and running, maybe not use the Victorian buildings, because the majority of them are apartments now, of course. But you know, what other industries do you think that the UK could start clawing back?
Well, it's got to be manufacturing, hasn't it, really? You know, if you're producing something within your own country, then that means you can buy things that are built and made in that country as well, and that will make the economy improve. I think we need to move away from the services industry and the financial that we've positioned ourselves as over the past 20 years. I do, and people say, don't they, what's happened to our manufacturing base, you know? And, you know, if you invest in manufacturing, people will buy British goods and support this economy.
It would be nice to actually look at something and look underneath and see made in Britain instead of made in Taiwan or made in, you know, that's what you always end up seeing on made blah blah place. You know, it would be brilliant to actually have that. That would be one of the best things.
I think so.
Made in Bolton.
Made in Bolton.
Really
like that.
Made in Scunthorpe.
Why not?
I mean, it'd be brilliant.
Just a quick sideline before we go to a break. Amazon are opening a big warehouse at Manchester Airport.
Oh, I can try
something
there
I saw in the news today as well. So try there for a job.
I could do part-time stacking books and part-time making T-shirts.
Well, there you go. Again, we'll take a short break, but do stay with us, because when we come back, we'll be talking about